After 4 weeks of recess, the National Assembly has resumed today with national security and political oversight taking center stage. Top on the deliberations is a renewed call to urgently address the security challenges as the Senate moves to convene a national security summit. TVC News reports.
After a 4-week break, Nigeria senators returned to a transformed chamber, ready to tackle pressing national concerns. The Senate chamber has gone fully automated, each seat now fitted with a mini monitor and new microphones, part of a push to modernize plenary sessions and possibly pave way for open ballot voting during divisions.
Whatever we do, we must think more of moving the country forward instead of moving our pockets forward. Let the burdens on our shoulders, though enormous, be lightened through our unity of purpose.
But beyond the digital upgrade, the tone on the floor was serious. 2 troubling incidents took center stage: the attack on hunters from Kano in Uromi and the tragic Easter Day incident in Gombe, where a truck rammed into a Christian procession.
The lack of regulated framework for community security has created an environment where self-styled enforcers carry weapons without accountability, thereby posing a serious threat to public safety and national cohesion.
And therefore urge the Nigerian Police and the Federal Road Safety Commission, as well as other relevant security agencies, to provide adequate security and ensure strict adherence to road safety measures to forestall future occurrence whenever such major events are taking place across the country.
These incidents added urgency to a motion already before the Senate, a call for a national security summit.
It is very important now that we converge as a Senate. We must lend our voice. We cannot leave executive alone.
Do we want to be true and fair and say the truth about what is happening in this country?
How can we best utilize the vigilantes? How can we have community policing? How can we have community protection? What should families look out for?
After extensive debate, the Senate resolved to convene a national security summit. Meanwhile, the crisis in Rivers State is also getting attention. The senators set up a 20-member committee to monitor governance in the state, particularly the actions of the sole administrator. The committee is led by the Senate's leader, Kwayomi Bamidele, with Senator Rufai Hanga as his deputy. The committee includes prominent senators from across party lines and aims to ensure accountability and transparency in the administration of the state. With national security and political tensions prominent on the agenda, the Senate returns with a sense of greater responsibility, fully aware of the high expectations from the Nigerian people. TVC News, Abuja.
Senate spokesperson Yemi Adaramodu joins me live from our Abuja studio for more on today's plenary. Good to have you join us, Senator Adaramodu. Good to see you and your colleagues back from your recess and the transformation with full automation in the Senate chambers. How is this likely to boost the business of lawmaking?
Thank you very much, and good evening, and good evening to Nigerians. Yes, we are back on the beat. We are back seriously invigorated. We are back with very renewed energy. We are back to make sure that we give meaning to the renewed hope of the agenda of Mr. President, and to a very great and omnipotent renewed hope for Nigerians. Now that we have, we had 2 religious holidays, the fasting period for both Christians and the Muslims, and then the Easter, then the Ramadan. So we are out of it now, and then we are now back. Like I said, fresh blood, fresh energy, fresh vitality, and then we are now legislatively mobile in order to carry out our assignments and to make sure, at the conscience of the people, at the People's Parliament, to make sure that we give meaning to their yearnings. And that's why in the Senate today, apart from the mere fact that the Senate President, the uncommon Senate of the uncommon 10th Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, apart from his admonition to senators, that yes, now we have to make sure that we take the bulls not only by the horns, we take the bulls by the whole body of the bull and make sure that we now perform. We have been performing before, but now we want to add more pep into it. That's why we went straight into those areas where Nigerians have been yearning for a very serious change. Security, then the issue of emergency rule, which we can call political. So that is why today they formed the fulcrum of our discussions, our debate, our decisions, our discussions, and what we now had a resolutions on today.
Okay,
so
Senator.
That's where we are today. And then, yes.
Yes, good to know that. And, let's now look at those issues, beginning with security. The Senate is talking tough about security with plans to convene a national security summit. When is this likely to take place, and what exactly are your expectations from this summit?
Yes, our expectations are very rife. Our expectations are not different from the expectations of the ordinary Nigerian. And like we usually say, that nobody is exempted from the security scare that had been bedeviling Nigeria for a very long period. Not now, not 2 years back, not 3 years back, not 4 years back, not 5 years back, even more than a decade. So we have been on it, but we want to make sure that this time around we put a stop to it. And then our experience of 1 or 2 or 3 months ago was so horrendous. So, and we cannot just decide to live with it. That's why the Senate today decided, when senators brought up the occurrences, the Oromia affair, the Gombe affair, the Benue affair, the Plateau affair, the Zamfara affair, the Katsina affair, the Sokoto affair, the Kebbi affair, and so many other affairs like that. We can just go on and be mentioning. And then even the resurgence, the revigoration of the Boko Haram in Bordeaux. So we now said enough is enough. And when we are now saying enough is enough, it means that we now don't want to make the decision only on our own. We now want to bring in all critical stakeholders: students, youth, CSOs, NGOs, government people, non-government people, partisan people, non-partisan people, and all of us, including the security chiefs. We now want to hold a summit whereby Nigerians will now contribute. Nigeria will talk about it. It is our concern. It concerns everybody. It is our business. It's the business of everybody. It's not about the business of the executive arm. It's not about the business of the legislative arm. It's not about the business of the judiciary arm alone. It's now the business of all. Anybody, either you are partisan or you are non-partisan, let us come together and now sit down. Have a summit and have a discourse and now take a position. Stand position for that matter so that we can stamp this one out. At least for now, we can ameliorate it and make sure that our people can sleep with their two eyes closed. Because even now, nobody is sleeping with only one eye closed. Everybody is sleeping with 2 eyes widely open.
I get your point.
And then the time frame is that it's going to be very, very immediate. Because today, the Senate President has now hinted that there's going to be a committee that is going to birth it. The committee is going to give us the modus operandi. The committee is going to give us the timeline, and it is going to be very, very immediate. That is where we are now. So by the grace of God, and that by everything that put Nigeria together and bring Nigeria together, we are going to get to the end of this security scare, to the end of this banditry, to the end of this terrorism, and to the end of this those people who think that Nigeria should not be rest assured, so that we will not make progress. We have to make progress.
All right, Senator.
Our hope must be renewed, and the hope that is renewed must be fulfilled and must come into reality and fruition. That's where we are now.
All right, Senator. And going to the other matter, since the 18th of March, Rivers State has been under emergency rule, and there are concerns that while senators went on recess, the business of oversight of the sole administrator of Rivers State was suspended. How do you react to that?
Yes, definitely. When the issue of a state of emergency came up in March this year, the Senate and the House of Representatives, we made an addendum. And that addendum was that we, that is both chambers, Reps and Senate, that we are going to make sure that we sharpen our oversight functions over the emergency rule emergency regime in Rivers State, that we are not going to leave Rivers State alone, and that we are going to ensure that things are properly done, that the sole administrator will not solely be deciding what is good for Rivers people, that all of us will sit down with the critical stakeholders, which we will be bringing in from time to time, under the auspices and purview of the National Assembly. That is what we are giving vent to. We gave vent to today. And you will know that even in the House of Representatives, there has been a committee that even invited the sole administrator. But this time around, we are now making sure that the other wing of the National Assembly, which is the Senate, the Red Chamber, is now dead serious in making sure that what the sole administrator is doing there will be check and balances. And today, the Senate President put up a committee headed by the Senate leader, Senator Michael Okoyemi Bamidele, to be assisted by Senator Anga Udfai of Kano State, to ensure, and other members, 18 other members, to ensure that properly what is good for the Rivers people are given to them, because there is appropriation for Rivers State from the federation account. And then we cannot just leave a zone administrator alone just to loom large and then just do everything to his own whims and caprices. So there should be check and balances. Right. And because if in the provision, within the provision of the Constitution, that there should be and there could be an emergency rule, that is Section 305 of the Constitution. When we look at sub 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of it, then we know what are the conditions, what is the situation that can be prevailing and be prevalent for a state of emergency to be declared by a president, how the National Assembly can come into it. And we said, and we assured Nigeria, that not only that, we are agreeing to it, because there was a break law and order then. There was no governance then, because it was only the executive that was propelling itself in Rivers State then, that there was no other arm of government that was moving on, especially the legislation. And then where there's no legislation, which is the parliament of the people, which is the conscience of the people, then definitely it means there was no governance. So because of that, Mr. President declared it, and then the National Assembly acceded to it, with a caveat that we are going to monitor, we are going to oversight,
and it's that
and we are
monitoring,
going to exercise
Senator,
that authority over it. That is what we have given vent to today.
I hear you, Senator. You know, it's that oversight that I was asking about, that the 4 weeks you spent on holiday, you know, there are speculations really that while you were away, it appears that business was pending. It was suspended. No action was taken in that regard. So I really wanted you to speak to what your colleagues were doing while that lasted. But aside that, now that this committee has been set up, what exactly is their job description? Simply put the sole administrator on check, or seek quick restoration to civil rule in Rivers State?
Yes. The emergency rule is for 6 months, and we are away for 6 weeks. Definitely, there's no way we can revisit maybe allocation for only 1 month that the emergency rule so that would have taken. There's no way we can come up and ask to ask from him, what have you done with the allocation taken so far? What is on ground? What do you intend to do? Because the sole administrator is not supposed to make a new budget. He can make a very ad hoc budget, which is not going to be an annual budget. And then even within the budget of the state, which the court has already nullified. So there's no way the sole administrator can now rest on that budget, which has been rendered equate by the declaration of the Supreme Court. So definitely, whatever ad hoc budget or appropriation proposals that the sole administrator would have put up for itself in order to make sure that the state is run very well, you know, salaries must be paid. There are so many other overheads that must be done. There's so many other running matters that should have been observed in Rivers State. And then Rivers State cannot just wait within that 6 months without moving forward. So definitely, within that our 6 weeks that we were away, definitely is not the forever for that 6 months that the sole administrator initially that the president has declared for. the emergency rule will now be evaluated by the committee that has been put in place.
Okay.
Whether to continue, whether not to continue, depending on the dramatic personnel that made
Senator,
that emergency rule to come into fruition.
I hear
to be
you.
declared by Mr. President.
I
So
hear
if
we
it is
really
not,
do not
then
have
definitely
a lot of time.
the committee will recommend
Senator
to the National
Adaramodu,
Assembly.
I get your passion about this matter, but we really do not have more time to have this conversation. Hopefully we can have you some other time to shed light on other matters being handled by the Senate. Spokesperson of the Nigerian Senate, Yemi Adaramodu, thank you very much for your time on TVC News at 7.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.